These are the reasons the Los Angeles Dodgers are the first baseball super team. From starting the offseason with the acquisition of Shohei Ohtani, to other teams just not being as good as the Dodgers. After a lackluster 2023 postseason, the Dodgers decided that it was time to get their hands on a big-time player. So of course, they signed Ohtani right away. In baseball, Shohei is one of those players who goes above and beyond for the game. He's been playing like a beast for years, resulting in him getting the most attention from the media and fans. Ohtani's been baseball's biggest superstar for years now, and there's a good reason for it. He's the best two-way player in the league. After tearing it up in the NPB, Ohtani soon made his mark in the MLB, and following the 2023 season, he's a three-time All-Star, two-time MVP, and made it to 6 All-MLB teams, while also leading the league in home runs. On top of that, he has 2 Silver Slugger Awards and 3 Edgar Martinez Awards, among others. Clearly, he's a generational talent who'll go down as one of the greatest to ever play the sport, so it's no surprise that the Dodgers were dying to get their hands on the athlete. It's also no surprise that they were willing to spend a staggering sum just for him to join the franchise. $700 million to be exact. The 10-year deal's the most lucrative in MLB history, topping Mike Trout's 12-year deal with the Angels. But what's interesting is the fact that Shohei only wants $2 million as his annual salary, with the remaining $68 million each year to be deferred and paid to him between 2034 and 2043. So why did he do that? Well, it's because he wanted to allow the Dodgers to sign even more players. This was a great sign because it showed us all that Ohtani's sick of being the guy who only has regular season accomplishments. He wants to win it all in the 2024 season and the years after. So rather than being selfish and greedy by taking $70 million upfront every year, he's allowed the Dodgers to bag a generational player like himself while also signing other fantastic players. And to one's surprise, the Dodgers did exactly that. Because after signing Shohei, they also signed Tyler Glasnow. The right-handed starter joined the franchise on a 5-year, $136.5 million contract extension, making the trade of Manuel and Tyler from the Rays to the Dodgers official. Glasnow was one of the most prized starting pitchers available via trade, and he's one of the dominant pitchers in the league. In a career-high 120 innings in 2023, he struck out 162 and walked 37, going 10-7 with a 3.53 ERA. Signing Ohtani and Tyler alone was enough for this to be a super successful offseason for the Dodgers. But no, they didn't want to stop there. In fact, they also signed Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Much like Ohtani, the 25-year-old made waves in the NPB, dominating competition year after year. Yamamoto's a Japan Series champion, 5-time NPB All-Star, 3-time Pacific League MVP, and has numerous other honors under his belt. So yeah, he's pretty damn good, and it was only a matter of time before he made his way into the MLB. Many teams naturally wanted to bag the pitcher, but it was the Dodgers who got lucky, as they were able to lure him to the franchise thanks to the lucrative contract they offered him. It's a 12-year deal worth $325 million. The longest and most expensive contract for a pitcher in MLB history. And based on Yamamoto's stats in the 2023 season, it's not hard to see why. He had a 1.16 ERA in 171 innings for the Oryx Buffaloes, 176 strikeouts against only 28 walks, making it his 3rd year in a row with a sub-2.0 ERA. Having him on the team's roster made the already impressive Dodgers squad even better. I mean, honestly, this team looks scary on paper, and if all the new signings play as expected, then it's night-night for the rest of the league. After all, besides the new signings, the Dodgers already have a great roster. They've got the man himself, Mookie Betts, one of, if not the greatest, right fielders in the MLB currently. This dude's a multiple-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, and an MVP. On top of all that, he has 6 Silver Slugger Awards, 6 Gold Glove Awards, and 6 Fielding Bible Awards. He's been great for the Dodgers so far, and if he keeps up his play from previous years, it's going to be impossible to beat the Dodgers. Besides Mookie, the franchise is even home to Freddie Freeman, who has 321 homers and 1,143 RBIs to his name. And of course, the Dodgers also have Will Smith, James Outman, and Max Muncy. With a roster this stacked, it's hard to deny that this is one of the biggest super teams in sports history. After spending over $1 billion on Shohei, Yamamoto, and Glasnow, the Dodgers have cemented themselves as the strongest team in the MLB since the Yankees a few decades ago. In fact, some have argued that this is like taking LeBron's Heat and KD's Warriors and combining them. After all, the team's so stacked that it seems as if they're going to win the World Series a bunch of times over the next decade. Keeping this in mind, all eyes will be on the franchise from the 2024 season onwards. After building such a good team, not only are the Dodgers getting a lot of mainstream attention, but they're also raising everyone's expectations regarding how great they're actually gonna be. For a team this damn good, anything less than a World Series win in 2024, and especially in 2025, will be considered a failure. Anytime they lose or look bad, they're gonna be under a ton of scrutiny because they have no reason to not be dominating all other teams. At the same time, since the rest of the league knows how talented the Dodgers are now, they'll also feel 10 times more motivated to bring their A-game against them, because getting a win over them's going to be an achievement in itself. That said, all signs point towards the franchise winning it all for years to come. With so many OP players being under contract for the team for so long, it's not hard to imagine that the Dodgers are going to win the World Series for multiple years in a row. And if that run somehow doesn't start in 2024, it most definitely will in 2025 when Ohtani's going to be able to go back to being a two-way player. But there's also the question of whether such a situation is good or bad for baseball. Some might say it's bad, but others claim that this could be good for baseball. And here's how. It's very possible for this super team to just not work out, and that's been a pretty common occurrence in many sports, such as basketball and soccer. Because of that, many people are going to want to tune in every night to watch the Dodgers, or at the very least, stay in the loop to see what happens, which is great for baseball. The super team situation has already brought more eyes to the sport, and as the 2024 and 2025 seasons start, I'm positive there will be even more. Of course, we've also seen many super teams be successful, and that can also be bad for the MLB, because if the Dodgers keep winning, it'll make things super boring for the fans. Remember when the KD Warriors were running the show between 2016 and 2019? Well, the fans hated it because Golden State kept winning and dominating their opponents. Fans found it unfair to allow one team to have so much star power, and many feel the same way about the Dodgers. If the super team gels well, they'll just steamroll through their rivals every game and easily win all of the postseason series as well. That takes away from the excitement factor since everything will be predictable and close games will be a rarity, meaning that interest in the sport could actually dip. This is especially worrying since the other teams in the league aren't nearly as stacked, so that increases the chances of the Dodgers simply annihilating any and all opponents. Sure, they might lose some games here and there, that's normal. But the vast majority of games are likely to be blowouts, and once they lock in for the postseason, it's hard to imagine anything other than Dodgers dominance from start to finish. Sure, the Braves, Phillies, and Astros are great teams in their own right as well, but as good as they are, they're no match for this current Dodgers squad. Even the defending champs, the Texas Rangers, boast a fantastic team, though again, it's nothing like what the Ohtani-led Dodgers are. For better or for worse, the Dodgers are now the craziest super team in MLB history, on paper at least. So if you're a fan of any other team, good luck to you. But if you support the Dodgers, all I can say is, have fun. So, from other teams simply not being as stacked as the Dodgers, to the franchise kickstarting the offseason by landing Shohei Ohtani, that was why the Los Angeles Dodgers are the first super team in baseball.